Hello everybody, welcome to NBA Scoreboard. We had some interesting matchups that went on in the night. A lot of my predictions I really didn't get right, but let's go see what happened here. Now, the first game is the San Antonio Spurs versus the Atlanta Hawks. Now, we expected a good game and we got one. San Antonio Spurs came on top by 7. They just won it. It was a great game. It was 97-90. It was a great game. There wasn't anything to take away from anybody really. So right now, the stats. I don't have the stats right now, but I'll get it to you in a second. For San Antonio, it was really Tony Parker. Really, 26 points. Just had a great outing, you know. And for Atlanta, it was Joe Johnson with 21. Alright, our next game is Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Charlotte Bobcats. Now, Cleveland just came to play as they take it 99-89 in a pretty good game. They came out lighting it up in the first quarter. Charlotte came back, but Cleveland was able to hold them off. For Charlotte, DJ Augustine had 22, and for Cleveland, Sessions had 18. Hickson did great, getting 19 boards. I mean, that's a lot for rebounds, and that's basically what held the Cleveland to a win. You know, you got to get those boards. You can't let them get second chance opportunities. Our next game is the New Jersey Nets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Nets are going to come out on this top in a very close one, 107-105. It was a close game all around the stretch, but you can kind of tell that New Jersey had the lead and they lost it, but they had the lead and Minnesota really came back, but New Jersey was able to hold them off. For Minnesota, Beasley really held them with 20 points, and for New Jersey, it was really Brook Lopez with 30 points and 12 rebounds, getting double-double for him there, and also an assist. Darren Williams had 21 assists. So our next game is Orlando Magic versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, I told you Orlando was going to win just because they were going to shut down Dwight Howard, and they did. I said it was going to be close. It was close. 78-72 Orlando. Orlando really, it was kind of a back-and-forth game, but Orlando kind of just came out on top. Good for points, it was Drew Gooden from Milwaukee, 18 points, did pretty good, added 4 assists. For Orlando, it was Howard, 18 points, 17 boards, getting the double-double there, and it was just best game, you know. Our next game is the Detroit Pistons versus the Washington Wizards. I said Washington was going to win it in a close margin, and they did, 107-105 again. And you can kind of tell it was a back-and-forth game for most of the game, but in the fourth quarter, Washington kind of took over for Detroit. Monroe, 22 and 14, getting the double-double, couldn't come up to win. For Washington, Blatch, 26 and 10 for the double-double, and Wall was in there with 12 assists. So, you know, you can't say anything else, you know. Our next game is Boston and Philadelphia. Boston's going to end up winning this easily, 99-82. They really didn't get it going until the second half. They were down by 2 after the first, but kind of regained it in the second, third, and fourth quarters. They just got the night. For Philadelphia, Turner had 21 points, and Spencer Hawes had 8 rebounds. For Boston, it was Pierce with 18 points, and he added 7 rebounds. And assists, Rondo, of course, adding 13 assists for the night. Okay, our next game is the New York Knicks versus the Toronto Raptors. The Knicks are going to actually get this one, 131-118. The Knicks, they played a really overall great around game. They really came out firing and stayed there. Their third quarter was kind of sloppy-ish, but in the fourth quarter, they made up for it. For Toronto, DeRozan scored 36 for them, and Ed Davis scored 13. Got 13 boards. For New York, this is surprising. Tony Douglas got 28 points. Anthony having the 9 boards, and Billups added 9 assists with that too. So Tony Douglas, 28 points. That's a good adding for him. Our next game is the Chicago Bulls versus the Phoenix Suns. Now, I really didn't expect it to be that close, but the Bulls did end up winning by 3. They really had a good first quarter, but then kind of shut down in the second half, but they were able to hold on. For Phoenix, it was really Vince Carter, 23. Gortat came in with 13 rebounds, and Steve Nash came in with 16 assists, so that's always good. For Chicago, Rose had 19, their leading scorer. Boozer had 9 rebounds and 7 assists to add on with that. Chicago's going to get the win by 3. That was a great game. Our next game is the LA Clippers versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies they didn't really come to play, and they couldn't get the job done, losing by 1, 82-81. So it was a good game, but they just couldn't come out on top. Their leading scorers for the LA Clippers is Mo Williams with 16, Griffin had 14 boards. For Memphis, it was really Michael Conley with 20 points, Gasol cracked in 15 rebounds, and so LA Clippers survived in a close one by 1. Our next game is Sacramento and the Houston Rockets. Sacramento is going to end up taking this by 3. Sacramento really had control of the game for most of the game. They really did. And the leading scorer, Samuel Dalembert for Sacramento, scoring 21. DeMarcus Cousins getting 15 boards. For Houston, it was really Kevin Martin with 30 points, Scola with racking up 10 rebounds, and Kyle Lowry racking in 9 assists. Our next game is the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Denver Nuggets. Now, I was expecting the Denver to come in and win this because they were doing great, but they didn't. They lost by 7, 101-94. The Oklahoma City, Durant had 32, Kendrick brought down 14 boards, Westbrook got 6 assists. For Denver, Ty Lawson, 28 points, and Nene grabbing 8 boards, and Lawson again going with 5 assists. So Lawson had a good night out. Fortunately, they couldn't get the win. Our next game is Golden State Warriors versus the Portland Trail Blazers. Golden State's going to take this in a blowout, 108-87. And leading scorers, really, Golden State had control of it all game. Monte Ellis had 30 points and 5 assists, and David Lee had 20 rebounds. For Portland, it was all Aldridge, 17 points, 12 boards, 4 assists. So that's the highest stats for everybody, the whole team, and Aldridge made them all. Our next final game of the night, Utah Jazz versus the LA Lakers. Now, the LA Lakers came in the favorites of this. Well, they didn't come out the favorites. They lost 86-85 in a very tight game. They just couldn't finish it off. Devin Harris, having a great night. But here are the stats. Paul Millsap having 22 points. Derek Favors tacked in 11 rebounds, and Earl Watson came in with 6 assists. For LA, it was really Brian. He had 20 points, 5 assists, and Bynum racked in 23 rebounds. So that's huge for them, but they still couldn't come out with a win. So, that's been all. This is NBA Scoreboard, and we'll see you next time.